It's official. The Rolling Stone says Ava Kris Tyson stepped away from all things Mr. Beast amid transphobic attacks. Well, wait a minute. That's not what I heard. Insider Gaming has a completely different title to their article. Ava Kris Tyson leaves Mr. Beast team following grooming allegations. Oh yeah, those are two things that are completely different. For those of you that don't know, things for Kris Tyson have literally only been getting worse and worse and worse. It's one of those things where a public figure does something you don't like, so people start scouring the internet for every bad thing that they've ever done to prove that their thoughts were right about them from the get-go, because everyone wants to be right? I do. Either way, if you were preying on Kris's downfall, well then boy am I about to make your day. Except Kris Tyson quite did the opposite. Kris Tyson, former member of Mr. Beast's crew, has been involved in several controversies over the past few years. The one thing being, and Mr. Beast constantly getting criticized for it, is the public backlash and transphobia that they received. And at first, I actually was on Kris's side. Not with everything that recently came about, but after their transition. Before anything weird, I'm also not on Twitter, really, so I don't know any of the weird tweets that were going on. I will tell you more about them later. However, it's one of the things, it's gonna get more and more accepted in time. I just want people to be happy. It's as simple as that. Regardless of that, after publicly coming out as transgender, Kris faced significant backlash and transphobic comments, particularly from certain online communities and influencers. The situation got exacerbated by public figures like FaZe Nick Merckx, who made transphobic remarks that kind of widespread controversy and drew further negative attention to Kris, which at the time, I wasn't a big fan of, but people just like to hate people. They do. And furthermore, on top of this, as I was alluding to before, Mr. Beast got constantly criticized because of the impact on Mr. Beast's brand. Some viewers, and namely sponsors, expressed concern over the negative publicity surrounding. However, Mr. Beast has always publicly defended Kris. Mr. Beast has yet to say anything on these situations, and Kris took the leave of absence on their own. Regardless, I gotta show you all this stuff that I dug up. So for those of you who don't know about the Shad Man, let me fill you in. The Shad Man is a YouTuber who makes art. Great, we all love artists. I'm someone who actually pays for art. I constantly actually freelance for art. However, the Shad Man does a type of freelance art that I would never look into doing. The type that Kris does. Since I'm a little bit of an anime dork, let's go with, I don't know, Nezuko from Demon Slayer. Do those of you know who Nezuko from Demon Slayer is? You know Tanjiro's sister from the hit anime Demon Slayer? Well, she's 14. She's 14, right? Well, the Shad Man would take this innocent girl and basically draw her with her clothes off in more provocative ways. It's child corn. It's child corn. Furthermore, on top of this, Kris is like, oh yeah, dude, this is my bread and butter. I love this stuff. He actually bought some. And you can't get it misinterpreted. There's literally no way around this. Because it's not like Kris accidentally tweeted something out being like, oh, you should check this guy out. I like him. No, he got publicly caught on live stream shouting this guy out. Not only this, but there's a literal video or clip of a bunch of old Mr. Beast member, Mr. Beast himself, in a room where that same art that Kris tweeted is on the wall. It's literally on the wall. The one thing that's the craziest thing to me is how it's just a bunch of bros, just a bunch of dudes, probably in college at the time, right? How are they just okay with having literal child corn on the wall? Do they all think it's just a funny gag? Are they all just trying to act like they don't see it? It's just weird, man. Furthermore, the situation gets even worse. We all like Minecraft. Minecraft's great. Quite some time ago, Kris met a little boy named Lava. And at the time of filming, Kris was 20 years old and Lava was 13. What happened past that is those two went on to become friends. They became friendos. Okay, 7-year age gap. That's why that's weird. Kind of like the video I talked about yesterday. Cody Ko could tell you something about that. It's weird. You don't do that. More so past this, there have been several accounts of times where Kris and Lava were known to be talking to each other in private. And Kris would talk to Lava over different platforms, one of them being Snapchat. And now don't blow this out of proportion right away. We don't know enough about this right now. This is just allegations. Well, it's not allegations. Kris did have them added, but we don't know. Most people would jump to conclusions immediately, and they would be like, Kris either sent lewd photos or he asked for them in return. We don't know any of that. That is pure speculation if you think that or believe that at this point in time. However, there are some sus screenshots of Kris sending Snapchats to Lava at the time of him being 20 and of Lava being 13. Lava sent a Discord message on January 26, 2019 of him saying, I got a weird snap from Kris. As you can see, Christopher this is Kris, and the photos of Kris, who looks like he is on the verge of busting a fat nut, which, oh wait, he is, as the text says, coming for America, with a U, not an O. This iceberg gets deeper and deeper. I'm not gonna get too into it. I'm gonna stay on the surface level of it. And at the surface level, a 20-year-old in college who's hanging out and sending Snapchats like this to a 13-year-old is incredibly weird. Not only on top of this, but he likes to buy photos of underage girls who are completely naked. So far, Kris is not shaping up to be a great guy. Yeah, I would consider him a brand red flag for more than one reason. No, it's not because she's trans. What's the correct way to say that? I also even have a little bit more news on this, except this one dates back quite a long time ago. This is a tweet a long time ago, adding Finster and Kris from Mr. Beast shown hanging out with a known pedophile, Ella Hollywood, who has been proven to groom little kids into corn addiction, as well as grooming Orion, Giggly Goonclaw, Passmore into becoming a transgender pedo and child groomer. It's so easy to jump to conclusions on this with Kris's background. Like, all the dots, all of the paintings are getting filled in over time. If you get caught hanging out with a known pedophile once, people will always give you the benefit of the doubt, as they should. Like, oh, I didn't know, this is a terrible mistake, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. However, the problem is, this is after, oh, hey, I buy child corn and I enjoy it. Some would say nothing gets my knob a cranking like some lolly. Some people would say that. Oh wait, Kris did. He said that. Apparently this tweet is out of context though. That's why I didn't bring it up, but I don't know about all that. And also why someone wouldn't take your side on this is also because of what could have or what did happen between Kris and this 13-year-old. As Pokimane said, I don't know all the details regarding the Ava situation, but I want to make it clear. Any inappropriate behavior towards minors is unacceptable, regardless of who you are. And this is exactly the mindset that I think everyone should have. And as the days continue, more and more accusations and allegations continue to be released on Ava Kris Tyson. But the biggest one is, obviously Kris sending inappropriate messages to 13-year-old. But the person themselves, the 13-year-old, the lava that we're talking about, is said that these are massive lies and people are twisting the truth, which I find to believe. People really do prey on Kris's downfall. They don't like seeing them in Mr. Beast, so they want her gone. However, Kris did mention that his leaving of Mr. Beast, meaning that he wanted to leave and Mr. Beast teams were on board with it. Don't know, once again, if that's Jimmy Beast. And many people are pressing Jimmy to make a response. However, in my personal opinion, I think it's better. He probably is just as appalled as anyone else, because you can't forget, this was Mr. Beast's best friend for a year. And finding out that your friend is things that you didn't know about, not only does it completely change your perspective of him, it's an absolute shock, and that'd be hard for anyone to deal with. The silver lining of the situation is that it's just, especially considering that the kid that allegedly was getting stated himself that they were inappropriate and edgy messages, he was not a victim, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day. So that's it that I have to add on the Kris Tyson situation. I'm not like a lot of the other YouTubers where I just force feed a bunch of other mumbo jumbo down your throat. That's literally everything besides everything that was before it. But it's no secret that Kris Tyson is Mr. Beast's whipping boy or girl. Sorry, whipping boy is universal to the fans. I think a lot of people have deep-rooted hatred towards Kris just because it was their beloved face of Mr. Beast. They loved him. They grew up watching him, and to watch him transform into something that they personally disagree with, I guess just crushes them, and they can't accept that fact, and that's why people hate on him. But now there is more so reason than ever to, not saying it's justified, but being 20 and constantly and sending edgy jokes to a 13-year-old, I don't know. It's just something I can't get behind. The whole Shadman stuff, like, that's like some pedo types. That's pedo beat. That is pedo beat. That's pedo coded 1 million. This is now my third commentary video. Let me know how I did. I have no idea how any of my other videos are doing, but I do appreciate you guys watching this video, and maybe I'll be back again tomorrow. I'm thinking about trying a tier list. Tier list boy.